It's great having you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. This is episode number 129. Today we're going to talk about wisdom versus foolishness. I know we all want to nurture wisdom in our children, and there is a lot of foolishness in this world. Oh, brother. Isn't it the truth? And you know I am not going to be having political conversations with you, as I already told you way back in the beginning, but there is a lot of foolishness in this world. I'm sorry, but paying $6 a gallon for gasoline, yeah, that's really foolish. Especially when I can tell you that a mere 7 months ago, I got gas for $2.63 a gallon. There's a lot of foolishness in this world. Okay, just so we all know the truth. Now, kids have a lot of foolishness in them. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. In fact, let me tell you, in Proverbs 22:15, it says that foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, wrapped up tight, and the rod will drive it far from him. That's the King James. Sorry, that's what I learned how to read from, and that's the one I know the best. In other words, kids have a lot of essential stupidity right in their life, and it's the parents' place to get rid of it. That's the bottom line. What does that mean? That means a kid will run out in the street because they don't know better. That means a kid will take an entire bottle of Crisco oil and dump it across the entire kitchen, rip off their pamper, and belly slide across it in great glee because it's a blast, never knowing that it's going to take 2 weeks before the mom is ever even going to think about getting all that Crisco off that floor. And every time anybody walks through the kitchen, they're going to go "Phew!" and land right on their butts because that oil is relentless. Foolishness really is bound in the heart of a child. That means a child will climb up in a tree much farther than he ever meant to go. And then when he gets up there, he's going to scream and yell and have an absolute hissy fit because he's petrified. And oh yeah, mom's going to get to climb up in the tree to get him down. It's not very safe for a 115-pound person as compared to a 35-pound person. Yeah, things like that. I suppose you might want to ask me how I know, but I probably don't have to tell you that this is experiential, so I really, really do know. I could tell you 100,000 stories based on other people's lives, but I'll stick to my own. Okay, so my son, who's very imaginative and extraordinarily creative, wanted to see if he could cook marshmallows in his bedroom. So he took a coffee can and started a fire with paper and cooked marshmallows in his bedroom. What he didn't understand was the bottom of the can was going to also get hot and burn, at least, thank heavens, it only burned a circular pattern into the carpeting rather than catching it all the way on fire. Oh, and he was 14 years old. Wasn't like he was 2. Foolishness really is bound in the heart of a child. I mean, kids, they're just nuts. You heard about the kid who shoved 5 pairs of underwear down the toilet in one single day because he didn't want anyone to know about how he messed his pants, and utterly clogged up the plumbing and cost his mom and dad $1,200, and having the plumber come out, take apart everything, including drilling down into the cement under the house in order to get those underwear out because nobody knew what had clogged it up. Or the kid who puts 100 Legos down the toilet. Or the kid who does his very best artwork all the way down the hall with markers while you're taking care of the baby. Yes, foolishness really is bound in the heart of a child. I don't think there's anybody who's going to fight with me about this. So you know what? You do have to get it out. And it's a challenge. I actually believe in corporal punishment. I know we have discussed this before, but even if you don't believe in corporal punishment, you better believe in discipline because you're not going to get rid of it without it. Let me tell you part of the reason I believe in corporal punishment. In Proverbs 13:24, God says that the one who loves his child will discipline him at times. And in fact, it has even stronger language than that. The man who spares the rod hates his child. You don't have to like it. I confess I haven't always liked that one either. But if you hate your child, you withhold discipline. If you love your child, you will discipline them at times. It's part of the deal. So you want your child to gain wisdom. Now, what in the world is wisdom? Wisdom is a good practical knowledge that can be applied to a situation. If you don't have any kind of practical knowledge, then you can't apply it. I'm going to give you a really funny example. I know a kid that he would get up and he would wear what he wanted to. So sometimes he'd put on a long sleeve shirt and a hoodie and sweatpants and heavy boots. And it was in the summer. It was about 80 degrees. Be like, what are you thinking, dude? Well, I just want to wear this today. See, that's foolishness. That's not wisdom. My whole life, it's 80 degrees. You know, you wear a t-shirt and a pair of shorts and a pair of sandals, right? Let's be reasonable. No, he was foolish. He's a kid. He's going to do what he thinks he wants to do. Now, within a couple hours, he was back in the bedroom ripping off all these clothes and putting on some shorts and a t-shirt. What I'm saying to you is wisdom is practical knowledge. Some people don't have any. Kids have very little knowledge of how the world works, right? They have innate good sensibilities about certain things, but other things, they're just pure out and outright ignorant. And I always say stupidity is fatal, but ignorance is curable, because ignorance is just what you don't know yet. They're very ignorant about how the world works. Our job as a parent is to teach them, to instruct them, to help them, to show them, to be a good example to them, to expose them to lots of things so they grow and grow and grow, and their wisdom base grows and their knowledge base grows. That's what our job is. So we help them gain wisdom. We say to them, we need you to pick up your room. They don't know what that means. They have no earthly idea. I'm serious. A 2.5, a 3-year-old? Hello. If you haven't gone in there with them and helped them pick up their room, put their clothes in the hamper, put their toys on the shelf, put their books where they go, organize their blocks, put things in the toy box, pull the sheets up, pull the blankets up. Okay, this is how you clean your room. Oh, and bonus, you can run the vacuum cleaner, though you're too little. But don't worry, by the time you're 10, you'll be doing this part too, and vacuum the floor. Okay, now they know how to clean their room. You do that with them 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Now you can say, go clean your room. They know what they're supposed to do. They know what is expected. If you are not teaching your child how to do the tasks that you expect them to do, hold on to your little sockies. You are foolish. It is foolish to expect someone to know how to do something they've never done before and never seen done before. That's your place to get wise. Go in there, do it with them, show them, help them, demonstrate to them. Now it is wise that you expect them to go clean up their room. Bonus material for you, Mom. Bonus material for you, Dad. You have to be wise enough to be a good parent. So your kid needs to do the dishes. It's never done the dishes before. And frankly, you might think he's seen you do the dishes before, but he was not paying attention because he could care less. So you have to tell him. And however you do it, you run a sink full of soapy water with a cap full of bleach. Okay, great. You just use a cloth or a sponge and you put the soap directly on there, or a scrubby, whatever. You have to show your child. Oh, and you have to hold on to the plate. You don't just lay it in the sink and do it and then rinse it off. And what happened to the bottom of the plate? We stacked all the plates at dinner. You have to wash the whole entire thing, and you rinse it off and you put it in the rack. And it's best if you put the rack in order from big to little. It doesn't all fall out that way. You have to show them. That's teaching your child practical wisdom. What in the world are you supposed to do? When your child is old enough to take care of their own clothes, you teach them how to fold them. You teach him or her how to hang them up, where they go in the drawer, how to put them in the drawer in an organized way. Yeah, that's practical wisdom. Practical wisdom is knowing how to make a simple meal. I don't care if it's macaroni and cheese and a hamburger. I used to take hamburger when I would get it and make it into hamburger patties. And so my kids could just pull out a hamburger patty, make macaroni and cheese, and actually have a meal. I was in nursing school. I was pretty busy. Sometimes I needed my kids to cook, and they were very capable. Honestly, at 7 years old, either one of my sons could prepare a simple meal. They could open a can of green beans, cook hamburgers, make macaroni and cheese. I mean, it wasn't the greatest nutrition in the world, but we had something to eat. They could make hot dogs with pork and beans, and just practical wisdom. That's your responsibility to teach that to your child. Let's talk about relationships. Most people not just children, are plain old foolish when it comes to relationships. They have no clue how to manage a relationship. I really hope that you'll join me tomorrow because I'm going to be talking to you about helping your child select a good mate. So please come and be with me. But most people have no sense about how to make wise choices in their relationships. So they do what they've seen, and heaven forbid, if they've watched a lot of sitcoms on television, then what they think is how to have a good relationship is to fight and argue and get really strong about defending your position. And they don't know about compromise. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If no one has shown them or taught them, they're complete fools when it comes to how to have a good relationship. If you doubt me, I dare you to go to a middle school or a high school around lunchtime and watch the free-for-all that happens in a cafeteria. If you question that kids are foolish, you just go right ahead and go find out. And do we dare talk about kids who are angry and kids who are upset and they think it's right to walk into a school and kill other children or other teachers or other teenagers? I'm telling you right now, kids, they're foolish. They need to be taught wisdom. So in a relationship, you need to teach your children the wisdom of choosing good friends. You need to teach your children how to handle disagreements with their friends. You need to teach them how to handle rejection and abandonment and cruelty and things that are highly unfair. Sometimes even teachers act like jerks. You need to teach your children the necessity of equilateral relationships that are healthy, which means they're going to choose people who are similar in intelligence or similar in emotional intelligence, that have similar interests. It doesn't mean you can't have a friend who's radically different than you, because I certainly have had a number of those in my lifetime. But probably your very best friend is going to be well suited to you. That's practical wisdom. You're going to teach your kid things like how to handle money, how to take care of their car, how to take care of their personal finances at a level that is responsible and not going to get them into a mess that they can't get out of for 20 years. And then they end up claiming bankruptcy. You're going to teach your child how to have practical wisdom in terms of self-care, dealing with their health, what they eat, whether or not they exercise, going to the doctor if they're sick, taking good care of their teeth. There are just so many areas in life where it is our place as parents to eradicate the foolishness that is there and to instruct them in ways of wisdom. Wisdom is doing your homework right when you get home from school, not waiting till 9:30 at night. Wisdom is taking the paper when you find out that you have a science project and give it to your mom and your dad so they can start working with you on that, not 2 nights before, or heaven forbid, the night before it's due, when you've already had a month to work on it, but you never bothered to tell anyone else. Yeah, your place is to teach practical wisdom to your children. And if you are not someone who has a lot of practical wisdom because no one gave it to you, I really want to invite you and challenge you to start at the beginning of everything I've ever told you on Paint a Beautiful Picture. Watch every single episode and keep on coming back, because I am doing my best to hand you practical wisdom on a silver platter. But you have to listen, and you have to be willing to do a little bit of personal work in order to make it happen. I mean, I'm begging you, please, 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 come and join me. It really will help you a lot. I'm going to give you one more area, and this is emotional wisdom. A lot of people don't have this. I see people and they're like, oh, I just fell in love with this guy, and I knew there were all these warning signs and I should have paid better attention, but I just loved him so much. And then I got pregnant and then we got married, and oh my word, my life is a mess. Right? This is foolishness. That is not emotional wisdom. You have to look at some things and go, sometimes my heart is going to carry me way down a road I don't need to go. And I've got to have enough emotional wisdom to say, nope, not going to go. Though it might hurt like the dickens, this person is not good for me and this relationship is not healthy for me, and I'm going to stop it now while I still can. No kidding. I'm going to give you another practical wisdom. I've seen so many people that as teenagers got somebody pregnant or got pregnant and go, oh, well, we're just going to go ahead and get married. You know what? 2 mistakes don't fix the first one. I kid you not. Some people have no business being married. I'm not being heartless about the devastation of getting pregnant at 15 or 16. But honey, if you think that's bad, wait until you got married at 15 or 16 because somebody was foolish enough to let you. Again, mom and dad, don't be foolish. And by the time you're 20, you're divorced, but now you got 3 instead of 1. Don't do it. 2 mistakes don't fix the first one. That's practical wisdom. Okay, so our goal is to teach our children to be wise. Really, because you know what? A life of wisdom brings a lot of peace and, truthfully, a lot of joy. I was a very foolish young person. No one taught me a thing that was wise. I had to learn most things the hard way. That is zero fun. Zero. But now that I am older and significantly wiser, I pass that wisdom on to my children and to my grandchildren, and they always appreciate it. That's the truth. Even my 17-year-old grandson the other day thanked me for something that I shared with him because he said, Granny, I know that will work. You want to teach your children the difference between wisdom and foolishness, and you want to drive out the foolishness and teach them wisdom. The challenge question today is, what am I doing about teaching my child wisdom? If you are not doing a single thing, I would want to challenge you. Start today. Regardless of your child's age, it is never too late to teach your child wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.